Welcome to the newest installment of the Untitled Film Nerd Project. My name is Philip, and joining me as always is Teacher.
Hello.
And today we're going to talk about the Banana Splits movie, aka 90% of the people in this movie are giant dicks. Before we get into it, spoiler warning now. If you want to avoid spoilers, skip ahead to the time code you see on the screen. All right, so let's get into it.
All right. What'd you think of this one? Yeah.
Well, this is kind of bad.
Yeah.
But I also kind of respect it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll leave it there for now. What about you?
Like, I didn't hate it.
Uh-huh.
I didn't like it.
Uh-huh.
It was very, very trauma.
Yeah.
Very full moon. But, not like when I was younger watching those. Now that I'm older and a little bit wiser, and going back and watching like one of the ones that you're like, hey, I really loved this movie when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
And then you watch it and it's like, oh, this movie's kind of shitty. So, yeah, we're kind of on that wavelength. So, yeah.
All right, well, there were some things I did like.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the premise.
Yes.
Like a kid's show gone bad, but an actual existing real life kids show.
Yeah, I thought that was super cool.
Yeah, and even though I do take umbrage with a lot of it, as said, I do have to respect that they went there.
Mm-hmm.
Rumor is that this was a Five Nights at Freddy's script that was just never cleared. But to take that idea and turn it into a let's turn the Banana Splits homicidal, whomever's idea that was, I tip my hat to you.
Yes.
And granted, even though there are parts that I didn't exactly care for, if any other children's show property tries to do this again, it'll be a blatant ripoff. This was a concept that was pretty much one and done.
Yep.
So, yeah, I can't wrap my mind around the idea of taking this kid's show from the 70s and making it sadistic and evil. It's just so random and so wonderfully absurd that, yeah, for that alone, I can't outright hate the movie. But it feels like someone watched Puka and decided, let's do that. As for the content, the good deaths were good. The hammer to the head I liked. The lollipop, while it could have been filmed better, it was the one in the first act that made me write in my notes, I can't believe that Hanna-Barbera would be okay with this. Also worth noting that this is obviously the first of their properties to be rated R for, reasons that are very obvious. I like that everyone that lived were the people that I wanted to live. I like the reveal of the audience being slaughtered in the hallway. I thought that was a nice touch. As you know, one of my pet peeves is when people don't emote pain correctly. And I'll touch on that later. But the vice president dude on the wheel? Good job, sir. The acting, for the most part, was okay. I think Paige was the strongest actor in the bunch. The child actors were passable. I feel like some scenes needed to have another take. And Zoe delivered her lines in a way, a few of them, that made me chuckle. But if you take into account that quite a few of these actors, this is either their very first movie, like Stevie, or they have less than a handful of credits to their name, like Harley or Paige, like, for as inexperienced as a lot of the cast was, I'm willing to let go some of my nitpicks. I loved the mom's evolution into Sarah fucking Connor. It was probably my favorite thing in the entire movie.
And they weren't even being subtle about it.
I loved it. I loved it. I was like, yes, kill the Terminators. They're fucking robots. I loved Mitch, not the character. He was a douche. But when he was running away from the car and just like flail running and almost shrieking, I was dying laughing. It was so over the top and campy. And an instance where that worked to perfection. Even at the end where he's like, I'm injured. Just had me chuckling. The guy did it was just over dramatic and it was great. I liked Austin's look, especially his hat. He looked very similar to, I think it was Mike from the Monkees. And I didn't even think of that until they referenced them in the movie. Then it clicked. So I wonder if it was some kind of homage. Also, the actor that played him, Romeo Carrera, graced the channel previously in Pie Wacket. I'm pretty sure he was the douchebag friend.
Oh, yeah, the dickhead.
Yeah.
Me.
I had a few other LOL moments other than the dad. The one banana split, sawing the dude in half and then going, ta-da! Made me laugh. Then when the show dad gets his face lit on fire and he's flailing, the banana split is like dancing along with him. I thought it was funny. And then the kid saying, this show is not really what I expected. I was like, yeah, I feel you, buddy. I feel you. All right, that's it for me. What did you like?
Kind of much what you were saying. That I can pick the little things that I did like.
Mm-hmm.
Paige, as you brought up about her, I liked her for the most part. I think she was definitely the strongest actress, except when it came to trying to convey being terrified.
Okay.
Didn't do so good on that.
Right.
But everywhere else, she was the better of them.
Mm-hmm.
Mitch, loved his entire overacting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It was very reminiscent, again, of, going back to Trauma or Full Moon. It was the stereotype that you would expect of a big-breasted bimbo
Yeah.
blonde.
Yeah. Even like,
But they flipped it to be Mitch.
Yeah, a dude.
And it was fantastic. Totally appreciated that.
Uh-huh.
As we talked about, when the deaths did happen, they were extremely mean-spirited, and they worked out very well.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite moments, for the most part, I didn't like it when she appeared again, but when Poppy went into her entire revenge spree on the creator of the banana splits.
Yeah.
That was just cool as shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I was kind of hoping it was going to happen as soon as she saw the mask, and then they went for it, and it's like, yeah, I really dig that. But yeah, for the most part, you kind of touched on everything else, but those were definitely the strongest points to me.
Right on. Well, there were a lot of things that could have been better.
Mm-hmm.
So much of what's wrong is either due to the script or the way they executed, no pun intended, certain moments. But there was a lot. Like, the bad deaths were bad.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the character decisions were bad. A lot of the character responses were bad. Case in point, people reacting to pain incorrectly. If someone is breaking your finger, you're not going to be all, about it. Like, no, it hurts. Broken bones hurt. Most of the time, anyone could have escaped the peril they were in easily. Poppy being held there while her annoying new minted fiance is sawed in half. All she had to do was move a little.
Yeah.
In any direction, and she was free.
Sidestep.
Or the mom acting turned around and disoriented in the jungly area. It wasn't that thick. All she had to do was stop spinning in a circle and walk 2 steps, and she's out. Even in my notes I wrote, all of the characters overreacting to easy to get out of situations. But at the same time, this wasn't meant to be serious. It couldn't have been. So if you don't take it seriously, you can kind of forgive it a bit. I mean, it's the fucking banana splits on a murderous rampage.
Yes.
But even then, it could have been absurd and better. Parts of it looked cheap. Some of it was good cheap. Like those better ways people died. It didn't look great, but it was enough. But the really cheap stuff was just, why did the key do that to the dude's spine?
Yes.
What? I mentioned the script. I think it needed to be tweaked a bit. And by a bit, I mean a lot. They never really explained how the one banana split being programmed to be evil affected the others. Am I to assume they all share the same firmware update? They'd never explain that. And if so, why weren't they all evil during the actual show other than the first one, who tripped Stevie? I hated the end with Poppy, having gone insane as the 5th banana split driving away with the robot leftovers. What's she gonna do with all that? Does she have a robotics degree?
Yeah.
I mean, kudos to the actors as a whole for working with what they had, but man, so much here could have been better. So much could have been better. What about you? What did you think could have been improved?
I'm just going to jump onto some of what you had said, because you pretty much caught it right there, with some of the acting, some of the choices, and the script.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the things that bothered me was I liked Austin all right, but his entire too cool for school attitude was going so far overboard. He just reminded me of Prince Valium from Spaceballs.
Nice. Very awesome.
Like, God.
Like there's been a little too nonchalant.
Yes.
Very, very good reference. Very awesome.
So there was that.
Uh-huh.
As you were talking about, even like people reacting to pain correctly. Was it Carl? Was that the father of the stage girl? When he got his face lit on fire,
Oh yeah.
and he takes time to remove his jacket. Doesn't do anything with his jacket. He doesn't like use the jacket to put the fire out. No, he just removes it, and then he continues flailing about. And it's why. Also, speaking of why, there wasn't really much point to him and his daughter.
Yeah.
She said 2 lines, I think, maybe 3, and that was it with her. They could have tweaked. Well, they could have tweaked much of the entire situation leading up to everything going down. It's just, even if the place, they're shutting down production on the banana splits, security would still be there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And with them just pretending that they don't exist just doesn't fly with me.
It's like when Paige left to go look for the stage dad and left all the parents and kids there.
Yeah.
No.
And of course, naturally, everyone starts to wander off.
Yeah, like no.
And then also, like what you brought up with Poppy. I really liked what they did with Poppy at the beginning, with her going revenge and killing that dude. But then adding her at the end, it felt tacked on and just entirely unnecessary.
Exactly. Yep.
There's much more that could probably go into, but I'd feel like I'd be repeating myself on a lot of it.
Because it's the same stuff.
Yeah. So that's the majority.
Alrighty. Well, all things considered, would you recommend it?
Kinda, yeah.
All right.
You?
I gotta say no. I mean, if you're a fan of the show, then maybe check it out. But if you take the intellectual property of the banana splits out of it, it's kind of a shitty movie.
Yeah.
And the only reason I'm not outright hating it is because I'm admittedly grading it on a curve. But you take the premise out, and what do you have? Kind of a shitty movie. So, unless you're intrigued, I'd say this one is skippable. Now, I'm not mad at it, and I'm not mad we watched it, but I wouldn't recommend it.
Respect.
Anything else you would like to add?
No, I think that's about it.
Yeah. Well, that wraps up this episode. Thank you for listening. If you like the video, please hit the like button, share it with your friends, or cool people who might dig the Vizcast. Please subscribe to the channel, including hitting that notification bell to stay up to date on the newest content. And there is a link in the description below for the Patreon that covers all of the creative endeavors, so please consider showing your support. And until next time, my name is Philip.
And I'm TJ.
And we'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.
Bye.